Hong Kong, one day after its latest nuclear test, North Korea appears to be making preparations to launch a ballistic missile, a South Korean official said Monday. South Korea's military has observed the preparations for a North Korean intercontinental ballistic missile test, Chang Kyung-soo, a South Korean Defense Ministry official, told lawmakers, the Associated Press reported. On Sunday, North Korea carried out its sixth nuclear test, its most powerful by far. The underground blast triggered a magnitude 6.3 tremor centered at the testing site in the country's northeast, the United States Geological Survey said. It was followed by a weaker tremor believed to have been the result of a collapse in the testing site. The nuclear test followed threats against the American territory of Guam and weeks of missile tests, including launches demonstrating that North Korea had the capability to reach much of the United States. The South Korean military carried out drills Monday in response to the test, with F-15K fighter jets and ground forces firing missiles in a simulated attack on the North's nuclear site. The South Korean defense minister, Song Young-moo, also said Monday that in recent talks he had asked the United States to deploy strategic assets including an aircraft carrier group and bombers. According to Yonhap, the South Korean news agency. It was not immediately clear what sort of missile North Korea was preparing for a possible test. It first tested its new Song-14 missile on July 4 and again on July 28. The second test showed the missile had a range of about 6,500 miles, which would put the western and central United States within range. News of preparations for a possible missile test came as the South Korean Defense Ministry said the United States military would soon add 4 additional launchers for a missile defense system deployed in the country's south, Yonhap reported. The financial markets in Asia ticked downward slightly on Monday following the test, with the Nikkei 225 index in Japan dropping about 1% at the start of trading and staying near that level before closing down about 0.9%. The SEC index in China closed up about 0.4%. The main index of the South Korean financial markets, the Kospi 200, dropped about 1.2%. Gold, meanwhile, rose to its highest price in 10 months. Topping $1,337 by late afternoon in Asia. Japanese government bonds, another asset considered safe, registered lower yields as investors bought in. Experts were still trying to determine whether the explosion Sunday was, as North Korea claimed, caused by a hydrogen bomb. But the blast was clearly North Korea's strongest, and it was estimated to be as much as 16 times more powerful than the North's previous test. Hours before the test on Sunday, North Korea published photos of what it said was a hydrogen bomb capable of fitting on top of an intercontinental ballistic missile. President Trump said on Twitter that the test was an embarrassment to China, the North's biggest ally and trade partner, and he criticized South Korea, an American ally, which he accused of talk of appeasement. The office of South Korea's President, Moon Jae-in, responded that it was working to exert maximum sanctions and pressure on the North and reiterated that its goal was peaceful denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. Mr. Trump also said the United States was considering barring trade with any country doing business with North Korea. If actually carried out, such a ban would bring an end to trade between the world's largest economy, the United States, and the second largest, China. But analysts said the threat was meant as a warning to China to further curb its trade with North Korea, including selling it oil. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis said that any threat to the United States or its territories, including Guam or our allies, will be met with a massive military response. He added that the United States was not looking to the total annihilation of North Korea but that it had many options to do so. South Korea's Ministry of the Environment was also expected to give its approval Monday for the full deployment of a missile defense system operated by the United States, Yonhap reported, citing unidentified sources. Installation of the system, known as Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, or THAAD, has been protested by residents of Songju, the county in southern South Korea where it is based. And consumers in China, which fears the system's radar will be used to monitor its territory and provoke a regional arms race, have boycotted products from South Korea in recent months over plans to deploy the anti-missile system. Also on Monday, Yonhap reported that the South Korean city of Incheon was canceling plans for a military reenactment of the Sept. 15, 1950, landing there of American and Allied forces led by General Douglas MacArthur, which helped turn the tide of the Korean War. The event was called off because